Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have something very exciting to show you with this tutorial. This disclaimer, I have to give a disclaimer, this cake was inspired by a cake I've already done, which was a gelatin cake, and something I saw on Instagram by Frost Form. I highly recommend checking out their information on Instagram. You can purchase from them. They have a wrap and a whole system to do this style of cake. But I had done something similar in the past, like I said, with gelatin, and this is my kind of take on the combination of the two. I will link all of their information also. But we're going to get started with getting our cake assembled. I am using some leftover cakes that I had baked before they were in my freezer. This is not for an order. This is demonstration purposes only. Not that we don't freeze cakes, because they do freeze well, but just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. And another one. And this is actually easier to do when they are chilled and frozen. Easier to carve down. So I want them all to be the same size. I wanted them all to be 6-inch cakes because I had more 6-inch than the others, but I could trim them all down to be a 6-inch. So I am cutting off the corners of this. This is a 6-inch square. Since it's a 6-inch, the narrowest part of it are the same size as a 6-inch round. You just have to cut those corners off. And I'm using a, it's basically a bread knife. It's perfect for carving cakes. Now this is a trick to get your cakes layered up and filled. And I'm just using the 6-inch pans. These are the same pans that most of the cakes were baked in, and the other ones are carved down to be. And I'm just layering them up with buttercream in between, with that acetate wrapped around the entire thing. Now, it was a little tiny bit lopsided, but I don't think it was anything that was too obvious. This whole purpose of this is to keep it from being lopsided, but you know, I'm human. I did miss that it was just a smidge off, but that's okay. So we're just pushing those down a little bit so that we get rid of any air bubbles that are in between the layers. And you'd want to use a slightly thicker buttercream in between your layers since we don't have a dam. And I placed the other 6-inch on top and put it in the freezer to set up. Now I'm removing them by just turning it upside down, removing that bottom pan. Then I'm using another cardboard cake round, flipping it upside down again, or right side up, and removing that acetate. Now you probably would not have to do this crumb coating stage, but I wanted to make sure that no crumbs got locked into my ganache that I end up using on this. So I'm just basically covering up to make sure the crumbs are locked in. And then I'll set it in the freezer for about 20 minutes to get it to firm up. And I'm just cutting down the excess cake board so that it's out of the way. And then this is something else, a trick that they use on Frost Form also, is use a layer of parchment paper and then saran wrap. And then I'm putting my expandable cake ring over that cake board on the bottom, the 6-inch one, so that it's over the top of the cake board. And then I'm just wrapping up the bottom to keep the ganache from leaking out the bottom. Now I put that in the refrigerator while I made the ganache. This is a butter ganache, guys. This is a recipe. I'm not sure if Frost Form developed this recipe, but I am using this, and I have seen other recipes. I Googled all of this, of course, and this seems to be the standard. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. You melt your butter, salted or unsalted, whatever you prefer, and then you do twice as much chocolate as the butter. So if you're using, say, 1 cup of butter, you'll use 2 cups of chocolate. Now, definitely use a higher quality white chocolate. Don't use the, grocery store off-brand white chocolate. It does not melt as well with the butter. And then I did a double boiler, melted the butter, and then once it was melted, added the chocolate to it. You could do it in the microwave, but I wanted to ensure that I got the chocolate melted well without overheating it. So that's why I did a double boiler. But you want to make sure that none of that steam gets into your ganache, or it can seize it up. Water and chocolate don't work well together. So make sure that you keep all that steam out of there. And I added some white oil-based food coloring from Color Mill just to neutralize the base color so that the other colors I used were true to the color that I wanted them to be. Otherwise, they're going to have kind of a yellow undertone because butter is yellow and white chocolate is not actually white. It's an off-white color also. So I got those the colors that I wanted, and this butter ganache compared to a cream-based ganache does set up faster, but that's why it's great for this. I am just alternating pouring them in to get this marbled effect. But you do have to work kind of fast because, like I said, it seizes up or firms up really fast compared. So you want to not waste any time. And yes, I know I dripped over the acetate, but that's okay because I'm just going to remove that anyway. I was trying to get it into the crevice, so I was trying to get as close to the edge as possible, and it kind of just dribbled over a little bit, but that's okay. Definitely use an oil-based food coloring for these. A gel-based food coloring is going to seize it up, and it's not going to pour correctly. Now, I set that in the refrigerator to firm up, which only took about, 3 hours in the refrigerator, compared to with white chocolate ganache, that is cream-based, can take overnight up to 2 days. That is where I've had problems with the ganache in the past. So I really like this butter ganache, and this is my go-to now. And this is just melted candy melts. I used yellow because I'm going to color these gold. And yellow is a base color in gold, so that you get a brighter gold when you use the luster dust on top of a yellow. Compared to a white, you'd get a little bit more muted, duller gold out of the white candy melts. So I just poured those in, put them in the refrigerator or the freezer until they cooled, and then I'm removing them from the straws. Some of them wanted to stick, so I just scored them with my X-Acto knife and just pushed them out. Now this is just gold luster dust. This is not my Truly Mad Plastics this time. I had this. I didn't know I had this, so I wanted to use it up. So I just used it, and I'm using my big fluffy brush just to brush it on. This works great. You get a nice gold sheen, but you will find when you're transferring it onto your cake, you're going to accidentally rub some of that off. Since it doesn't have any vodka or Everclear or lemon extract to make a paint out of it, or airbrushing, those are a little bit more permanent of a gold finish, but this is a shortcut to get your base gold on there. If you rub it off, I do end up going back and adding more gold. And I'm just attaching these with some more of that white chocolate ganache behind. And here I just added a little bit of Everclear to the gold and made a paint out of it and just went back over it and touched up the places where I had rubbed it off with my fingers. Even with the gloves, it still rubs off a little bit. Now these are just some artificial flowers that I have, some clematis, and I had stuck a few stems together with some floral tape, and I'm just using my little hooks of floral wire to stick them in. You could use more chocolate, or you could use some buttercream, but I do find that they want to pop off a little bit. So using those hooks definitely helps. Just make sure that you communicate that to your customer and show them where those wires are so they know to remove them before serving. And they do stick into the ganache fairly easily. So there you go, guys. I just love that shine. That butter ganache is awesome. I will put a link to all of my recipes that I used and the links to the frost form in the video description. And I really hope you like this, guys. Definitely switching over to the butter ganache. So we'll catch you next time. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch my video. And if you'd like to watch some other videos, go ahead and click on the link to one of these other videos shown here. And if you would like to check out my other social media, I am on Facebook and Instagram under the same name, Sophisticakes by Mary. And please take the time to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload another video. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next tutorial.